But they don't really know what they're confronting either. The media are sticking with, if people don't know who they are, they won't vote for them. There is no slander you can issue against them. There is no accusation you can make against them. There is nothing that you can say about them that will reduce the power of the fact that the National Party represents the national idea, and that we are the only ones who represent the national idea, and that the fact of the matter is that the country is becoming increasingly concerned about the issues that we have been talking about for many years, but which have been shunted to one side. We see it in the reaction to the Uachtarard protests, as they tried to siphon off the support to an establishment politician like Noel Grealish. And it wasn't long after that until we had Michael Collins, TD, unfortunately named after a greater man than himself. But he thought to himself that this is an issue. That this is an issue that doesn't matter how the Irish Times talk about me. It doesn't matter how the Irish Examiner or the Irish Independent, or for that matter RTE, it doesn't matter how much abuse I get. The fact of the matter is the votes will come in at the next general election if I am seen to side with the Irish people against mass migration. And that, to me, is our signal. Perhaps not fully so that our time has come, but that certainly a time has come when the Irish people are more receptive to our message than they have ever been before. So we have this now, this time. At a national level, we have planned for May 2020 since November 2016, so that's useful. Now we need the people on the ground in the common structure that we have tried to build and will continue to try and build between now and May and the general election that actually takes place, to focus your minds upon that. And focus your minds upon the fact that every single hand will be necessary at the tiller, as it were, when that time comes, because we intend to maximize the impact that we have in that first election that we take part in, because the maximization of that impact will, number one, cause the government to pause and wonder whether it is a good idea to push ahead so very quickly, given that the monster is already of a certain size. And number two, it will give us the momentum to build in the following years for exactly the kind of victories that we are actually intent on having. I don't matter much in the scheme of things, and to a certain extent neither does the National Party matter in the scheme of things. Ireland matters in the scheme of things. The national idea matters in the scheme of things. But it is the National Party, and it has fallen to the National Party, and it has fallen to us in this room and in rooms like it. It has fallen to us to carry the national idea. And that is a horrendous responsibility. It is the same responsibility. And I don't exaggerate when I say this. It is the same responsibility that the men who walked into the GPO carried with them. It is the same responsibility that was carried at Auckland. It was the same responsibility that was carried at Benburb. It's the same responsibility that was carried at Clontarf. No less and no more. Let's hope it's less bloody. I can't guarantee you that. Certainly can't guarantee myself that, based on the number of people who have informed me that my time on this planet is short. Is that we have an opportunity here. This general election going forward for the next few elections, whatever form they take, we have an opportunity to do something as magnificent as was done at much less cost. Irish freedom is within our grasp by the ballot paper still. Past generations that I have spoken of, past battles, past wars, past suffering, past history, what they have gone through. And yet all we have to do is get a majority of people just to agree not to commit national suicide. That's all we have to do. And yet that is an enormous task. As I said it before, they describe us as many things. They describe us as under many labels, which I won't even at this point. I've mentioned it already, and I won't repeat it. They'll come up with a few new ones, I'm sure, between now and May. The point is, after 1,000 years of suffering, after 1,000 years of fighting, after 1,000 years of struggle, Ireland is now in danger of dying of embarrassment. Quite simply, dying of embarrassment after all we've been through. Because if they use certain words, they will frighten us. We will back away. What British artillery couldn't do, they're going to use words instead. And so two things fall upon this generation. One is the opportunity to achieve, once again, the same glorious task that was presented to every Irish generation before us, to secure, to defend, and to complete Irish freedom. And it can be done relatively easily through the ballot box. And the only thing we face is words. Are we going to be the generation that let Ireland go because we were embarrassed to be called names? Seriously? Is that the legacy that we want to leave for the next generation? I don't think so. It's certainly not the one that I want to leave. It's certainly not the one that I am willing to leave. Call me whatever you want. I do not care. I am an Irishman first, only and always. And all the rest of it is just a drivel of the mass media and just the Trotskyite nonsense of the far left seeping in to the so-called centre. We have a target, and again I won't mention it here today. We have a target for what we need to achieve in the next general election. We need you people to help us achieve that target. It is a staging post on the road to Irish freedom. Past generations of Irish history are looking to you to carry what they gave you in their generation at a much higher price and to hand it on to the next generation undamaged and at this stage literally undestroyed. That is our responsibility, that is your responsibility. And it is also your great privilege, because people don't talk about that. But it is a great privilege to live in a time when a nation's fate hangs in the balance, and you personally can make a difference, and you can. And I hope you will. And I believe you will. And I thank you very much in advance for the work that I expect you will do. Thank you very much.